Imagine waking up one morning, no heater, no blanket from Amazon, no winter jacket, no hot tea, no socks, no house with walls. And outside, everything is white. The ground is frozen. The trees are naked. The wind is hitting your face like it has a personal problem with you. This was winter for ancient humans. And for them, winter was not just a season. Winter was a boss fight. A very cold, very angry boss fight. Today, if we feel cold, we wear a sweater. If it gets colder, we wear two sweaters. And if it gets even colder, we complain on the internet. But ancient humans did not have that luxury. They had to survive with stone tools, fire, animal skins, teamwork, and a lot of courage. So the real question is, how did ancient humans survive winter? Let's go back thousands of years. Before cities, before farming, before shops, before electricity, before someone invented the very important technology called the blanket. Our story begins with a small group of ancient humans living near a forest. Let's call one of them Aru. Aru is not a king, not a warrior, not a genius scientist. He is just a normal ancient human, which means his daily routine is simple. Wake up, try not to freeze, find food, try not to get eaten, come back alive. Repeat. Very peaceful lifestyle. One morning, Aru opens his eyes inside a small shelter made of branches, animal hides, grass, and whatever the group could find. The first thing he feels is cold. Not the fan is too high. Cold. Real cold. The kind of cold where your fingers start questioning their life choices. Aru looks outside. The ground is covered with snow. The river is half frozen. The berries are gone. Many animals have moved away. The trees look dead. And Aru slowly realizes winter has arrived. Now, for ancient humans, winter created three huge problems. Number 1, food became harder to find. Number 2, the cold could kill you. Number 3, moving around became dangerous and exhausting. So their survival depended on one thing: preparation. Ancient humans could not wait for winter and then say, "Okay guys, what's the plan?" No, if they did that, winter would answer, "The plan is, you lose." So before winter arrived, they watched nature very carefully. They noticed the air becoming colder. They noticed animals moving. They noticed fruits disappearing. They noticed the days becoming shorter. Ancient humans were not checking weather apps. They were reading the sky, the wind, the trees, the animals, and the ground. Nature was their notification system. And when the signs of winter appeared, the whole group became serious. First, they had to find food. In summer and autumn, food was much easier to find. There were fruits, nuts, roots, fish, insects, eggs, and animals. But winter was different. Plants disappeared, water froze, animals hid or migrated. So ancient humans had to think ahead. They collected nuts, seeds, dried meat, and anything that could last. Of course, they did not have a refrigerator, but winter itself was like a giant natural fridge. The cold air helped preserve food. If they had meat, they could dry it, smoke it near the fire, or simply keep it cold. It was not fancy. No salt and pepper. No food vlog. And if someone complained about the taste, the group probably looked at him like, "Brother, this is not a restaurant. This is winter." But food storage was only one part. They also followed animals. Ancient hunters knew animal tracks. Aru and the hunters would look at footprints in the snow. A line of marks could tell them what animal passed here. Was it big or small? Was it alone or in a group? Was it moving fast? Was it injured? Snow actually made tracking easier because footprints stayed visible. But it also made hunting harder. The cold made hands stiff, snow made walking slow, and every single step used more energy. Imagine walking for hours in freezing weather with no modern shoes, carrying stone tools, hoping to find food. And then your friend says, "I think the animal went that way, and that way is another 5 kilometers. At that moment, even ancient humans must have had that look, the look of silent suffering. Still, they kept going, because one successful hunt could feed the whole group for days. A large animal meant meat, fat, bones, tools, and skin. Nothing was wasted. Meat became food, fat gave energy, bones became tools, hide became clothing or shelter. Tendons could be used like strong cord. Ancient humans were experts at using everything. Today we throw away packaging. They looked at one animal and saw a complete survival kit. But hunting was risky, so gathering also mattered. Even in winter, people could dig for roots. They could find stored nuts. They could break the ice to catch fish. They could collect firewood. Everyone helped. Men, women, elders, children. Survival was not a one-person job. If one person tried to survive alone in winter, the chances were very low. But a group? A group could share food, share warmth, share knowledge, share danger, and most importantly, share the one thing that changed everything: fire. Fire was the heart of winter survival. Without fire, ancient humans were in big trouble. Fire gave heat. Fire cooked food. Fire kept dangerous animals away. Fire gave light at night. Fire dried wet clothes and hides. Fire brought people together. At night, when the cold became stronger, the group sat around the fire. The flames danced. The smoke rose into the sky. The children came close. The elders told stories. Tools were repaired. Food was cooked. And for a moment, winter felt less powerful. Fire was not just technology. Fire was comfort. Fire was safety. Fire was the ancient version of home. But keeping fire alive was hard. If rain or snow came, the fire could die. If the wood became wet, starting a fire became much harder. If the group moved, they had to carry burning embers very carefully or start the fire all over again. And starting fire was not easy. No matchbox, no lighter, no gas stove. Just friction, sparks, dry grass, patience, and a lot of please work, please work, please work. Imagine Aru trying to start a fire while everyone is watching. He rubs the sticks, nothing. He rubs again. Smoke appears. Everyone gets excited. Then the smoke disappears. Awkward silence. One child whispers, "Maybe, let Uncle try." Painful. But eventually, with skill and patience, the fire comes alive. And suddenly, the whole group relaxes. Because in winter, fire meant one more night of survival. Now let's talk about clothing. Ancient humans did not walk into a store and say, "Do you have this animal skin in medium?" Their clothes came from nature. Animal hides, fur, leather, grass, plant fibers, and sometimes bone needles were used to make coverings. They wore layers, not fashion layers, survival layers. Aru might wear animal skin around his body, fur close to the skin to keep warm, leather or hide on the outside to block the wind. His feet wrapped with hide or grass. It probably smelled terrible. But when the temperature is freezing, style becomes a lot less important. Nobody is saying, "Bro, your winter outfit doesn't match." They're saying, "Bro, are your toes still working?" Clothing protected them from frostbite, the wind, and the snow. But shelter was just as important. Ancient humans used caves whenever they could. Caves blocked the wind and held warmth much better than open ground. But caves were not always empty. Sometimes animals lived there too. So before entering a cave, humans had to be very careful. Because nothing ruins your winter survival plan faster than discovering someone else already lives there. If caves were not available, they built shelters. They used branches, wood, animal hides, grass, stones, and even bones. The goal was simple: block the wind, keep the heat inside, stay dry, stay close to the fire. Even a small shelter could save lives. Wind was dangerous because it stole body heat. Wet clothing was even worse because it made the cold feel much colder. So staying dry really mattered. A shelter did not need to look beautiful. It just needed to work. Ancient humans were not building luxury cabins. They were building "please don't freeze tonight" cabins. Another secret weapon was movement. In winter, sitting still for too long could make the body much colder. So they worked, they walked, they gathered wood, they repaired tools, they prepared food, and they kept moving. But they also had to save energy because food was limited. This was a delicate balance. Move enough to stay warm, rest enough to save calories, eat enough to survive. Don't waste energy doing useless things. Basically, ancient humans were doing energy management long before fitness watches existed. And then there was body heat. At night, people stayed close together. Families slept near each other. Children were kept between the adults. Animal hides covered the group. The fire burned nearby. This was not just emotional closeness. It was survival physics. More bodies together meant more warmth. Winter taught ancient humans that community was not optional. Community was survival. This is one reason humans became so social. A lonely human was weak. A group of humans was powerful. One person could make fire. Another could hunt. Another could gather food. Another could care for the children. Another could remember where food was found last year. Another could repair tools. Every single person mattered. Even the elders were incredibly valuable. They carried memory. They knew which plants could be eaten, where the animals moved, how winters changed, which places were dangerous, how to survive when everything went wrong. In the modern world, we often think strength means muscles. But during an ancient winter, knowledge could save the whole group. An elder saying, "Do not go that way. The ice breaks there." A single sentence like that could be the difference between life and death. Children learned by watching. They watched how to make fire, how to track animals, how to prepare animal skins, how to find roots, how to stay quiet during a hunt, and how not to poke the fire like a tiny ancient troublemaker. Every winter was a classroom, but the teacher was nature, and nature did not give easy exams. If the group made mistakes, winter punished them. If they wasted food, they went hungry. If they lost the fire, they froze. If they ignored the weather, they suffered. If they split apart, they became vulnerable. But if they worked together, they survived. Now, picture one winter night. Snow is falling outside. The wind howls. Aru sits near the fire with his group. The children are wrapped in animal skins. The hunters are tired. The elders are quiet. Food is cooking slowly over the fire. Outside the shelter, the world is cold and dangerous. But inside, there is warmth. Not much, just enough. Enough fire, enough food, enough people, enough hope. And this is what ancient humans did best. They did not defeat winter with machines. They survived it with intelligence. They watched nature. They planned ahead. They used fire. They made clothes. They built shelters. They shared food. They protected each other. Winter was powerful, but humans had something winter did not expect. Teamwork. A single human in winter was fragile, but a group of humans gathered around a fire, that was the beginning of civilization. So the next time you feel cold and grab a blanket, remember ARU. Remember the people who survived freezing nights without heaters, without jackets, without hot chocolate. They faced winter with stone tools, animal skins, fire, and family. And somehow they made it. They survived. And because they survived, we are here today. Because ancient humans were not weak. They were tough. They were clever. And honestly, they were incredibly good at surviving terrible situations with almost no equipment. And if they could see us today, complaining because our Wi-Fi is slow during winter, they would probably stare at us for a very long time without saying a single word. Then, they would silently take away our blanket. The end.